I just saw a video on TikTok and it's quite adorable, really, because it's a mother repeating back to her daughter all the things her daughter's looking for in a guy in a relationship. And you know, it was adorable because it was, I think realistically, it's what the average woman, whether they say it out loud, is what it's looking for. And when you start notching it up, it's an incredibly rare commodity they seek. And in some ways, it's harmless. It's just, you know, you can see the how endearing it was. You know, the daughter's a bit shy, so there's an innocence to it, and it's nice. But the part that's often missed, and you saw it in the comments as well, which made me start thinking a bit even deeper than the comment, is although it's harmless on the outside, these are the standards a lot of women they live by, and you should have high standards in your life. Everybody deserves to be with someone they truly desire and love, but it has to come from a mutual respect. And you do have to look at yourself. You have to. You can't just put yourself on a pedestal and expect the world to gravitate to you, and without doing the work yourself. You know. So when you have these high standards, which are fair, we should all have high standards. You have to consider, what are you bringing to the table? If you say you want someone highly educated, you have to consider, are you highly educated? If you want someone funny, are you funny? If you want someone attractive, are you attractive? These all has to mirror each other. Now, the person you meet one day may not care about half of those things. And maybe you'll tick an awful lot of their boxes. And they'd be excited to meet you just as much as you're excited to meet them. But you have to be realistic with yourself. And when I say realistic, it's about checking yourself. If there's things to work on, then work on them. You can't expect to be lazy and then expect someone else to spend their life doing all the work. And then when you meet them, all of a sudden, you're attracted to them and you think that they should fall all over themselves for you. You have to consider what is attractive about you. When it comes to me personally, for the most part, you want someone who chooses you first. I've lived a life incredibly disappointed in people, in all honesty, and that'd be a nice start. That'd be a beautiful start. That'd be something that makes me just like a little bit like, this feels nice. This is different. But I have incredibly high standards, and that's the thing. So if someone happened to come upon me in life and thought, oh, he's attractive, or I like him, he's intelligent. If you did a different side of me, I could be incredibly funny. Of course, it depends on the situation. I'm not in a serious video going to start being an absolute wild lunatic. Where's the sense in it? I've got too much control to do that. But let's say I'm having a moment where people can see that side of me and they're like, oh, that's attractive. He's got a good sense of humour. Well, that's all well and good. It's nice for people to see these qualities, but I'm only looking for one special, incredible person in my life. And it doesn't matter if a load of people see beautiful qualities in sporadic moments and think, well, I like them. It's like, you don't always get what you like, though, you know. So our standard should always be high because we're trying to build for the life we desire, of course. And if someone's going to come on that journey with us, then in my situation, they better have done the work. Because I've done so much work on myself, I can't be with someone who's at the beginning stage of a journey. It's too exhausting. There's not. For me, it's all about alignment. Who's aligned with where I am at the moment? Because it's not for me to have to spend my life healing people, and that's a harsh lesson. Believe me, I felt for a long time that it was my job to heal people. So if I saw someone that was flawed in his way, I'd want to put all my time and energy into helping them. But I recognise now that that's not what I'm here to do at all. It's for people to mirror each other. Like, you've got to be at the same space. And if you're not, then you're not aligned. So if someone has all these tick boxes to do, what I would encourage them to do is say that I wouldn't call it delusional. You have every right to demand the best for yourself in this life. But to get there, you better do the work then. Because when you call in a situation that's incredibly rare, then you need to make yourself rare too. So if you're just like every other person, it's common. And there's nothing really redeemingly special or endearing about you. It's just, how can you possibly expect someone who is a rare commodity to desire you? It's just, you have, it's not all about money. You can't, forget the money. If I'm wealthy in the future, the money is irrelevant. If I've worked hard for it, then I deserve it, of course. And I'm not going to I wouldn't sort of sit there trying to justify anything. But I wouldn't want to make someone uncomfortable with money, because I think the fact that I've always, I've come from limited resources. I know what it would feel like to be thrust there and feel like you can't touch anything, or it's just you wouldn't want that for someone. So if I was incredibly wealthy in the future, and let's say I was going to let's say there's a chance I come into a relationship, I'm not judging someone by their finances. I'd probably judge them by how they handle their finances, though. Like if you've got low income, you've got low income, but maybe consider why they've got low income. Do you know what I mean? Because everything comes down to it's you can sense a lot from people. If someone's going after their dreams, for instance, and it comes at a financial burden, but they don't care, they're going to pursue their dreams anyway, I'd say that's admirable. You could admire that inequality in someone. If someone hasn't got a lot of money because they're doing a job that's making them miserable, but they make excuses as to why they're staying there, I don't see that as a desirable quality. It's like we can all leave jobs and move somewhere else. You can always re-educate yourself. There's so many things you can do. So I think you can tell a lot about people by their journey and where they're at. And it's not judging them by the fact they don't have money, but it's questioning why they don't have money. Again, if you want to be a rare commodity, then you have to think differently than the herd. And the herd feels sorry for themselves all the time. So think about that. If you're successful in life, or you're at least amounting to something and you're doing well, and all you've got is someone that's self-pity all the time, negative, 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 it's not going to make you really attracted to that circumstance, is it? You're not going to think, oh, this is exciting. This is where I want to see my life. Having to keep trying to lift someone out because they can't lift themselves out. That's no good. So yeah, like I say, I don't think it's wrong to have high standards, but you better make yourself equally in alignment with that. I don't want to say like deserving and things, but you have to have done the work. It's just the way it is. Physical attractiveness is one thing, but like, I think personally it's mental stimulation and all those intelligence. I think that's far more, and humor and things. I think they're far more desirable. But we have to have some sort of level of attractiveness to someone, of course. But if you sit there and say, I'm only going to be with someone that's a 10, they have to be perfect looking. And you better be a perfect looking Aphrodite sort of person yourself. If you're not, check yourself. Because all you're doing is, if you're going to dismiss most of the world, then you're going to have to be prepared to be dismissed too. Unless you are that incredible goddess, and be realistic with it. Because otherwise you're going to find yourself single for your whole life. Because you've judged people unfairly. And like I say, even if someone's not the most handsome or pretty, you may find they turn you down anyway, because we're not here to be a piece of meat for people. So when you have this massive checklist, like for instance, I'm going to show the video. I don't tick most of these boxes on this person's checklist, which is fortunate for me. But again, it's harmless, but you just take a deeper perspective on it. You've got effectively though, what we should be doing is just healing ourselves and striving to be the ultimate version of ourselves. So that means don't make excuses, go after your dreams, figure out what it is you want from life, keep pursuing it, have high standards, don't let people walk over you. As soon as you start setting higher levels in your life, you can't accept less than you truly deserve. And you'll recognize a connection as soon as you witness it. You'll know that person values their life in the same way I value mine. They have high principles and morals. I have high principles and morals. Their humor's beautiful, but it's not at the expense of someone else. They're not doing it to hurt people. Maybe they're inspiring people, but they're not trying to destroy them. All those little things, you think, God damn, that's an incredible human being. That's so different to the vast majority. That's inspiring. That's what I want. But then it'd be nice if that sort of person was to choose me first. It doesn't make you feel too special, does it? When someone tries One Avenue and then that doesn't work, and then they think, oh, I missed it. It's like, I like you. It's like, yeah, but you didn't choose me. Where does that leave me? Waiting around? I don't wait around. I'm not a waiting sort of person. I'm busy to building myself up. But we'll show the video, and it's nice. It's a nice video. Look, this isn't me trying to be all doom and gloom. It was a harmless video, but it was just. I think it just shows that I know full well the majority of women think this way. I know sometimes they settle for less, but this is what they want. But again, like I said, you have to be able to, everything you hear now, always think the alternative for a woman too, though. And think, do you tick that box? That's the best way you can do it. So guys can obviously listen to this and think, well, that's unrealistic. And realistically, it is unrealistic, believe me. Doesn't mean it can't exist, but it's unrealistic. But at the same time, if you think of a woman now, every time she speaks and think, is there a female equivalent of this? Incredibly rare too. And I wouldn't argue that just listening to it that the daughter ticks half most of these boxes either. So it's funny how deluded it is, but it's cute.
So you want a boy to be cocky but not too arrogant. You want him to be good looking but not too good looking that other girls look at him. You want him to be rich but not too rich that he's posh. You want him to drive a nice car but not too much of a nice car that it gives you the ick. You want him to be a sportsman but you don't want him to go to football all the time. You want him to travel the world but yet you want him to have a good job. You want him to wear nice clothes, but not certain clothes because that gives you the ick.
Yeah.
You want him to have tattoos, but not too many tattoos.
That gives you the ick.
You want him to have nice hair, but then he can't have his eyebrows done because that gives you the ick.
Something tells me there's more to it than that as well. There's probably a lot more things they're failing to say. But yeah, to each their own. I think it's important we do have high standards, though. You know, some of us are not interested in having multiple partners throughout life. We just want one special human being. And I think when you have that standard, then yeah. But we're not all going to have the same boxes to tick, you know. Like for me, in terms of someone having money, I don't care. But I expect someone to have respect, though. And not expect everything. So if someone says, well, you know, let's say I was wealthy, and one of someone's tick boxes is, oh, they must have money. I don't want that person. I don't want you for me just because you see money. That doesn't interest me at all. I don't want that. Because what happens when I'm struggling? I don't mind struggling, you know. If I reach the top of my mountain, and then the next mountain is another obstacle, but it's going to require an incredible change in direction in life, and maybe you have to lose an awful lot of money. I don't want someone who doesn't have the fight in them to build again. You know, if you have to live a superficial life, then that's not one of my tick boxes. That's not a tick box for me. I don't want someone like that. Thank you. Don't want to make this all about me, but we have to sometimes look at things and say, who is it? Who is your dream person? And I think someone that wants me to be anything other than myself is certainly not a dream anyway. So I would be more than happy to say, yeah, you go this way. I have no interest in having tattoos. I'm too indecisive. I change my mind too much. It's too much of a permanent scar on your body. So it's something where if I had a tattoo, I know inevitably I would want to keep changing it and changing it and changing it. So the way I consider it is, you know, why not just have photos on a wall? Why not just have prints done on a wall or in a book or something? Why have you got imprint in your body? Now, to each their own. If someone likes doing it, fine. I often think it looks tacky. I think some instances it can look good if done right. But I think these ones where they get this massive stamp on their leg, for instance, I think, what on earth? It looks shit. That's my opinion on it. So that ain't attractive to me at all. It's like, no. So when someone says, I want someone with tattoos, I'm thinking, why? It doesn't make them tough. To me, it just looks immoral. It's moral. You don't have to sort of abuse your body. But that's just a little thing. That's a superficial thing on the outside. Then you argue, what do people consume? Do they do drugs? Do they drink excessive amounts of alcohol? Do they smoke themselves to death? You know, these ain't traits I want. I want someone that, you know, appreciates life and not intent on destroying their body. So if you have those traits, that's not a tick for me either. It's not for me to change people. It's just me to be picky about what I want for my life and is there someone aligned with that? And I think that's fair, isn't it? So I don't take rejection personally because it's like, you know, if we're not meant to be together, then that's great because I'd rather just cut it now. Yeah, just because you want someone doesn't mean you always get them.